and not to ask people to stop walking into the Berkeley Property Owners Association meeting tonight. Rather, we're here to encourage them to pressure their peer who has withheld deposits from not only one person, not only two people, but multiple people in her property. And as you know, students right now are going through financial tough times and are very transient after graduating from Cal. So to come back to Berkeley and try to get their withheld security deposit is extremely difficult for people who live in Ohio or in LA or in Sacramento. So we're here to get together asking the Berkeley Property Owners Association members to encourage Eula Lekas to please give back the deposits that she's withheld from her tenants. Today we have various members of the City Council here. We have members of the Rent Board. We have students. We have a lot of people. Thank you. So first I'd like to have Council Member Igor Tregu talk to us about why this is important for us today. So thank you, Igor, for attending. Igor Tregu from the Rent Board.
Thank you very much. How's everyone doing?
Great. Woo!
Right. Well, thank you for being here. As a Rent Board Commissioner, I'm sworn to uphold the local rent ordinance in Berkeley, as well as state law concerning housing and renters' rights. The right to return a security deposit back upon the conclusion of a tenancy is so sacrosanct that it is inscribed in the California state law, State Civil Code 1950.5 to be exact. Now, we're not talking about a progressive place like Berkeley, which has always been ahead of the times on tenants' rights. We're talking about the entire state of California that has specific prescribed rights about returning security deposits. All of you are assembled here today because, like me, we all believe housing is a fundamental right. However, even if some of our friends over there may not subscribe to that, I think we all understand the concept of honoring a contract. And this is simply a matter of honoring a contract. The poor tenants that still have an outstanding debt owed to them have honored their part of the bargain by being good tenants, paying their rent on time every month, no matter how difficult that may have been for them to scrape by, and leaving their property in the same condition they found it in at the end of their tenancy. We stand with these tenants and we call upon the landlords in question to now honor their part of the bargain by returning their security deposit. We ask them to follow the law and pay up. Thank you.
Thank you, Igor. Next, we're going to have Councilmember Max Anderson.
I'll be brief, but I do want to say
you're getting everybody
that
recording all.
These tenants are due their return, the return of their security deposit, and to not return it is to commit an act of theft. This is their money. They deposited this money. The landlords accepted the money, and they vowed to follow the law and return this money upon the completion of this tenancy. And there's no indication that there was damage to the property or there are any other mitigating reasons why the landlord should have held on to that security deposit. As I said, it constitutes an act of theft, and what we're demanding is compliance with the law and compliance with the judge's order in the small claims court that awarded the case and ruled in favor of the tenants. So we're here today to stand with them and to indicate that these tenants and any other tenants that have a contract with the landlord that calls for them by way of their lease to return the security deposit ought to be in compliance and without question and without hesitation. So we're calling on the Berkeley Property Owners Association to do a little internal policing and require that their members abide by the laws. They certainly would abide by any laws that favor them. So let's make sure that they abide by the laws that favor the larger society and their rights to return of the security deposit. So hang in there. I know the actual tenants may not be here today, but we're here in your stead, and we're voicing your voices for the speedy return of your security deposit, because that's the law. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Anderson. Next, we're going to have Councilmember Jesse Adeguin speak, who has also served on the Rent Board and was a former Housing Advisory Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here today to stand for justice for these tenants, to stand for the proper enforcement of our laws. It's important that we're here today to send a message to the members of the Berkeley Property Owners Association that their former executive director, their member, Eula Lekas, should follow the law and return the security deposit that these tenants are rightfully owed. It's illegal for the landlord to not return the security deposit, and we all need to stand in solidarity to send a message that we need this owner to follow the law. Chong Hong and Allison Sato have waited far too long for justice, and we need to stand for justice with them to make sure that they receive their duly paid security deposits. Rents in Berkeley are incredibly expensive. You know, there was a recent article talking about how the Bay Area housing market is one of the hottest housing markets in the entire country. So tenants, particularly students, pay a lot of money to live in Berkeley, to go to school in Berkeley, and they pay security deposits because that's the law. And they have a right to receive the security deposit if they have not caused any damages to the property. That was the case in the case of Chong Han. That was the case in the case of Allison Sato. They have not received justice from their landlord. And so we need to send a message that not only should these tenants receive their security deposits, but tenants should not be deprived of their rights under state law, under local law. And so here to stand in solidarity with the tenants and to stand for justice for tenants. And thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Councilmember. Next, we're going to have John Nguyen, who's a student at UC Berkeley and is also currently a renter. And John is here to speak.
Just to make this message really short, it's all been said already. You know, this is basically stealing money. It's their money. The landlord who is at fault should just give it back. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That's the reality of it. Judy, would you like to say any words?
Just that my own son was, my own son, this goes further than we know about. Lots of people don't get their deposit back. My son twice did not get his deposits back. So this happens a lot. It's just not right. I don't think that was
Thank you, Commissioner. Councilmember Worthington, would you like to say any words? Councilmember Worthington has worked tirelessly advocating for tenants and fighting for these security deposits to go back to the tenants from Lekas and Associates.
Thank you. Well, I guess if I was writing a story about this protest today as a newspaper reporter, I think I might call it the politest protest I know. Because we are not here to attack the Berkeley Property Owners Association, and we are here to implore them to apply peer pressure to encourage this one particular recalcitrant landlord to refund the deposits from these repeated violations. Each case that has gone to small claims court the judge has ruled that the landlord has to pay them the money. And the Sato, Melissa Sato, she actually got, the judge said, this is bad faith and you're going to get double your deposit back. But the issue isn't that you can't win in court. The issue is if you move out of town and out of state, then it's so hard to come back. It costs you as much to pay for the airline ticket to come back. So it's a very unfair process that you may never get any money because you can't afford to come back to Berkeley and get a place to stay while you're here if you're giving up your apartment. So I am very pleased to report that just in the short time we've been here this evening, we have had 2 volunteers who are members of the Berkeley Property Owners Association who have volunteered. We didn't twist their arm. All we did is hand them this little flyer in a nice friendly flyer. But 2 of the members of the association have volunteered to lobby this particular landlord because they don't want landlords as a group to have a bad name because one bad landlord is doing such destructive things. So I think we've picked up a few new allies by being here, and we'll be working with them to lobby her some more. If this friendly lobbying doesn't work, we will also be going to the properties owned by this company and handing out information to all the tenants who live in their buildings, warning them of how bad the landlord is treating people on these deposits. And if necessary, we will go to the home residents and have another protest there, in which I invite all of you to join us at the property and at the home if it comes to that. We'd rather not have to go to all those different places, and hopefully we will achieve success in this effort today. So thank you all for being here to help us move forward.
Thank you, Councilmember Worthington. Wise words. So thanks everyone for attending today's demonstration, encouraging BPOA to self-police, as Councilmember Anderson has eloquently said. Thanks again, and we will keep you updated as this progresses. Have a great evening.